Hello everyone, for a special video on fuel saving for Le Mans Ultimate and rFactor 2. As was talking and driving and racing endurance cars, fuel saving is a key element of a strategy that could occur in a race. And today I'm going to show you how you are most efficient and still the fastest guy on track doing fuel saving if you're doing it the right technique. So let's head into the video. First of all, we're gonna do it the classic way. So we're going down Eau Rouge out of the pits. You see the full fuel tank is on, 98.6 liters remaining. And what we're gonna do after Radillon, there is the safety car line 1 on the exit of the pit road from the endurance run, and it's about here where we just lifting off, keep the gear engaged, and just like do the standard lift and coast. Obviously, this is the realistic way, like race driver would do it in the real race, and what is realistic in the sense of the simulation of sim racing as such. And you would see we would hit the wall here with 105 kph, and now we check out the esports style. But before I'm gonna show you the esport tricks, guys, if you appreciate this video, give it a thumbs, subscribe us on the YouTube channel, ring the bell for more Le Mans Ultimate and rFactor 2 tutorials. This means in ceteris paribus, so in the very same circumstance, you once again accelerate with the full fuel tank out of the pits, same tires, same everything, but this time at the top of Radillon, at the safety car line 1, we're not going to just lift off, we're also going to pull the clutch to disengage the drivetrain from the engine. The RPM goes down to neutral, we have no friction, no resistance from the drivetrain, and as you can see, we keep a higher speed for much longer. Of course, we consume a little bit of fuel, but we're gonna have a look into the data how that looks, as in this case, we would hit the wall roughly 18 kph faster. So let's check out what this means on data. Alright, so what I've done here is I have loaded in both the files of the runs. This one is the run where we did not engage the clutch, as you can see the RPM dropping and the fuel level staying exactly the same at all times. The other one is showing the RPM steady at all the times and the fuel level dropping as we go. Right, so we want to obviously compare those two, and what I've done for that is I have divided the parts of the examination into the base, the transmission, where we obviously start the lifting process, and here where we are coasting. And just on that, we can see a couple of things already. So if we're looking at the worksheet that I've just created real quick, on the base, you see that in both circumstances, we are running through the same corridor with a difference of 3 thousandths. That is obviously neglectable, so you could say in a straight line speed, this is equally fast, as good as it can get. In the transition, you see the same. One has to probably admit that I haven't lifted the very same meter on the track while taking the data. It becomes interesting though on the coasting side, as we see on the left data, we are half a second quicker than on the right data. So you see the direction where this is going already. And now we are checking the inputs so that we see what we're talking about. And as you can see, the lift off is roughly here. So I'm gonna go with a double click to only get the data right from there. And as you can see, we have a difference in lifting from roughly 10 meters even. So yeah, okay, arguably I screwed this up a little. You can see that on the variance as well, as the variance is first coming down before it actually goes up again. But what I want to show you, and this is the ultimate message from this video. I've once again clicked into the part where we're only examining from the right here. And if we start looking at the variance of 1.214 seconds, as we move to the right, this is getting more largely. So over the course of the distance, up until the point of impact, you see how much time we are gaining, while we obviously burn a little bit of fuel. However, if you are considering from a point of thousandths of here roughly. Bear with me. There we go. Didn't set this up correctly. Okay. Usually coasting phase is roughly, let's say, 200 meters. This is where we have the exact same speed, and from here on, we need to compare the data. So, fuel level, as you can see on the run that we have lifted without the clutch, 98.12. On the run where we have lifted with the clutch, the minimum is 98.11. In the exact moment that we're looking at, both fuel levels are the same. So we can have a look from here on up to the next 200 meters. In those 200 meters, we gain roughly 30 thousandths, and we have burned not even a decimal, so not even 10 milliliters of fuel. In fact, if we were looking at the graph, you could probably say that we have burned from 127 to 122, so 5 milliliters. What that means, if you look at the real fuel rate of the engine or of the car at a pit stop, it is considered 2.5 liters per second of refuel. In other words, you refuel 2,500 milliliters of fuel within 1,000 milliseconds. So that gives you 2.5 milliliters in 1 millisecond on refuel. So as we have now traveled 200 meters, gaining roughly 30 thousandths of seconds, you take 30 milliseconds divided by 2.5, and that would mean you would be allowed to burn 12 milliliters of fuel in that period in order to have more time saved on the track. So you gain 30 milliseconds on the track. However, to refuel the lost about 5 or make it even 6 milliliters, you only lose 2.4 milliseconds on the pit road for refueling. And that means in that circumstance, you have a net time gain of 27 thousandths. Obviously, this is this sounds super little, this sounds super small, but if you do 20 laps, you do this 20 times, then you gain 6/10, while not even, let me quickly check that as well. You burn 6 milliliters extra times 20, 120 milliliters you need to take, divided by 2.5. So you gain 6/10, so 600 thousandths of a second, and you refuel for 48 thousandths the additional fuel that you need to burn for keeping the engine running in idle. That means in hindsight, you have saved half a second total race time by pulling on the clutch compared to just letting the throttle go. Of course, I am 100% aware that this is not real, as in you would never do this in real life, as your motorsport clutch would immediately burn once you try attempting that, and I'm pretty sure that the car electronics would even prohibit the kind of behavior that you're doing here. However, reason why this is faster, again, less friction on the drivetrain, and that means less resistance when rolling and coasting over a standard road. Remember, the aero is still being a thing, the tires are still creating friction, so of course you're still going to lose speed, but you lose less speed when being in the clutch mode. Again, as this is not real, it is still a technique that is possible to be used here on Le Mans Ultimate and rFactor 2. And yeah, if you guys have any questions whatsoever, put them down in the comments area below. Let me know what you think. I hope that all the quick numbers and calculations I did live hasn't been too confusing. If you have further questions, if you want to have the complete calculation explained again, let me know down in the comments area below. I'll happily help you out. And thank you so much for watching this video. On to the next one, guys. See you. Bye-bye.